Imagine waking up one morning and the sky just disappears. 74,000 years ago, on an island in Indonesia, something erupted that was so powerful. It ejected 2,800 cubic kilometers of rock and ash into the atmosphere. That's enough material to bury the entire United States under half a meter of debris. The explosion was heard thousands of miles away. Ash flew like snow across continents. And when the dust finally settled, Earth had plunged into winters. A winter that would last for years. This is the story of Toba, the supervolcano that almost ended humanity. Welcome to Mysteries Unearthed, where we dig deep into the mind-blowing real-life events in history. Today we are going back 74,000 years to witness the largest volcanic eruption in human history, an event so catastrophic scientists still debate whether our species barely survived it. If you are ready to uncover one of the Earth's darkest mysteries, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happened next. Today, if you visit northern Sumatra in Indonesia, you will find one of the most beautiful places on earth. Lake Toba stretches 100 kilometers long and 30 kilometers wide, surrounded by lush green mountains. Tourists come here for peace and serenity. But this tranquil lake is hiding a terrifying secret. Lake Toba sits inside a massive crater, a caldera created by one of the most violent events in geological history. And beneath these peaceful waters, a sleeping giant that could wake up again. Let's go back 74,000 years. Earth looked very different then. Ice ages were cycling through the planet, and our ancestors, the early Homo sapiens, were just beginning to explore beyond Africa. Small bands of humans, maybe 10,000 to 50,000 people total across the entire planet, were trying to survive in the world that was already harsh. In Sumatra, deep beneath the Earth's crust, something was building. A massive chamber of molten rock. The magma had been accumulated for hundreds of thousands of years. The pressure was mounting. Toba had erupted before, 3 times in the past 1.2 million years. Each eruption was catastrophic, but the fourth eruption? That would be in a league of its own. Scientists estimate that the magma chamber beneath Toba was absolutely enormous, containing up to 50,000 cubic kilometers of molten rock. To put that in perspective, that's more than 4 times the volume of the Lake Superior, one of the largest freshwater lakes on Earth. The pressure kept building, and then it happened. We don't know the exact date, but we know it was during the northern summer around 74,000 years ago, because only summer monsoons winds could have carried the ash to the places it reached. The eruption began with a relatively small blast, what volcanologists call the Pillenian phase. Imagine a column of superheated gas, ash, and rock shooting 32 kilometers into the sky. That's twice the cruising altitude of commercial jets today. But that was just a warm-up. What came next was apocalyptic. The magma chamber, unable to contain the pressure any longer, collapsed. Pyroclastic flows, rivers of the superheated rock, and gas traveling at hundreds of kilometers per hour raced across the landscape, incinerating everything in their path. Inside the caldera itself, these flows piled up over 600 meters thick. That's taller than the world's tallest building today, buried under molten rock. The eruption lasted between 9 to 14 days. Let that sink in. For nearly 2 weeks, Toba belched out an amount of material that staggers the imagination. 2,800 cubic kilometers of ash and rock. Scientists call this the young Toba Tuff. To give you perspective, this eruption was 5,000 times larger than the Mount St. Helens in 1980, 100 times larger than the Mount Pinatubo in 1991, 12% more powerful than the last Yellowstone supervolcano eruption 2.2 million years ago. When Toba erupted, it earned a perfect 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index, the highest rating. It was and remains the largest known explosive eruption in the last 2.5 million years. The ash didn't just stay in Indonesia, it traveled across the continents. India was buried under 15 centimeters of volcanic ash. The Arabian Sea got a layer. The southern China Sea was blanketed with ash 3.5 centimeter thick. Even the central Indian Ocean was covered by 10 centimeters of debris. In total, Toba's ash covered over 40 million square kilometers of Earth's surface. That's nearly 8% of the entire planet. But the ash, that was just the beginning of humanity's nightmare. When a supervolcano erupts, it doesn't just throw a rock into the air. It injects a massive amount of sulfur dioxide high into the stratosphere, and that sulfur forms tiny droplets, aerosols that spreads around the globe, reflecting the sunlight back into the space. The result, volcanic winter. Ice core evidence from Greenland tells us that global temperatures dropped by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius in the years following Toba's eruption. Some climate models suggest that in northern hemisphere temperatures may have plummeted by as much as 10 degrees Celsius in the first year alone. Imagine that, winter, but it won't end next spring or the spring after that. For 6 to 10 years, Earth was locked in perpetual cold. And some scientists believe this triggered a cooling period that lasted for 1,000 years. Here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Scientists can track exactly where the ash fell because of something called cryptotephra, microscopic shards of volcanic glass. These fragments are so small, they're only 20 to 50 microns in size. 5 of them lined up would equal the width of a single human hair. But these tiny pieces of glass became the smoking gun, found at archaeological sites across Africa, India, and Southeast Asia, proving that Toba's impact was truly global. And this is where the big question comes in, the question that has haunted scientists for decades. Did Toba nearly wipe out humanity? Genetic evidence shows something strange. When scientists analyzed human DNA, they discovered that all living humans today descended from population that was shockingly small around this time, perhaps as few as 3,000 to 10,000 individuals. In 1998, a scientist named Stanley Ambrose proposed the Toba catastrophe theory. His hypothesis: the eruption caused such severe global devastation that human population crashed to the brink of extinction. We almost didn't make it. For years, this theory terrified and fascinated scientists. Could a single volcanic eruption really bring humanity to its knees? But here's where the mystery deepens. Recent archaeological discoveries are rewriting the story. And the truth is somehow even more incredible than we thought. In 2024, researchers made a stunning discovery at the site called Shinfamitema in northwest Ethiopia. They found evidence of humans living there before, during, and after the Toba eruption. And these weren't just barely surviving, these people were thriving. The archaeological team found over 16,000 chipped stone tools, potentially the earliest evidence of bow and arrow technology ever discovered. They found animal bones with cut marks, ostrich eggshells, evidence of controlled fire. But here's the most fascinating part. These early humans adapted. When Toba erupted and the environment became more arid, these people didn't panic. They shifted their diet. They started eating 4 times as much fish as before. They moved between seasonal water holes along river system. They innovated. They survived. Similar discoveries came from South Africa at sites called Pinnacle Point and Bliss Bay. Not only did humans survive there, but they actually developed new, more sophisticated stone tool technologies right after the eruption, innovations they would use for thousands of years. And in India, at the Toba site in the Middle Sun Valley, researchers found an 80,000 years record showing continuous human occupation through the Toba event. The tools didn't disappear, the people didn't vanish. So what does this all mean? Today, most scientists agree that while Toba's eruption was absolutely catastrophic, the largest in 2.5 million years, it didn't push humanity to the brink of extinction after all. Yes, there was a genetic bottleneck. Yes, human populations were small, but that may have had more to do with humans' migration out of Africa in small groups, adapting to new environments, facing ice ages and changing climates. Toba made survival harder, but it didn't defeat us. In fact, the behavioral flexibility that allowed our ancestors to survive Toba, the ability to adapt, to innovate, to change their diet and technology when the environment changed, that may be exactly what allowed humans to eventually spread across the entire planet. Today, the Lake Toba is calm and beautiful. The supervolcano is classified as dormant, not extinct. Scientists estimate the next major super eruption won't happen for another 600,000 years, though smaller eruptions could occur before then. The magma chamber is still there, still active. In fact, recent eruptions of the nearby Mount Sinabung might actually be part of Toba's recovery process, the system still adjusting 74,000 years later. The story of Toba reminds us just how fragile our existence is and just how resilient our ancestors faced the worst nature could throw at them. And they didn't just survive, they adapted, they thrived, and they passed that adaptability down through generations, all the way to us. So here's my question for you. If Toba erupted today with our modern technology and global civilization, do you think we would survive as well as our ancestors did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And if you found this story as mind-blowing as I did, smash that like button and share this video with someone who loves mysteries. Because honestly, the fact that we are all here today, that's the greatest mystery of all. Coming up next video, we are diving into another incredible unsolved mystery. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching Mysteries Unearthed. Until next time, keep questioning everything.